Billy, 7766. What's it like to be a Jewish atheist? Does it present you with any existential moments of doubt? No. No. Even when I was little, I was always the kid who questioned the Hebrew school teacher. Like, how come, whatever story in Genesis, like, it just doesn't make any logical sense. I was always the first one to point that kind of stuff out. Though the first one to grasp some of the more vague kind of spiritual concepts, like, God being omnipresent and stuff, I'm probably one of the first ones to actually understand what that meant. But there's other things that, well, how come God was always talking to all these people, and now he doesn't, like, talk to anybody anymore? And the teacher would, try to struggle with an answer. Well, back then he used to talk, and now he just doesn't. And it's just like, it doesn't make any sense to me. So, it doesn't give me any existential moments of doubt, because I think regardless of the religion that you're brought in, if you actually turn into an atheist, they make equally no sense. So not existential, but I think being part of such a close-knit community like Judaism, it probably did make it harder to actually come out and say that I was an atheist, and instead of being like, oh, I'm a Jew. But Jew, at this point, I think has more to do with culture than the religion. Being as old as Judaism is, its Bronze Age roots are apparent, and I think it's easier to dismiss as myth than say Christianity. I think the concept of Jesus being both a man and a God is a lot harder to dismiss than the concept of, like, Moses, who was just a dude talking with God. Because if you saw somebody who looked like Moses, just like in a park or something, talking to somebody who wasn't apparently there, you just think they're crazy, right? I think culturally it's a lot easier to dismiss, like, the Exodus story as just being false, or kind of the history being written by the victors type of story, than you are to disregard some of the things that Jesus did. It's a more I think Christianity is a more infectious type of religion than Judaism is. So probably I don't think it really gives me much of a unique perspective, but it does allow me to focus more on the Torah as myth than have to worry about like the Quran or the Bible, because both the Quran and the New Testament are based on the Torah, and if the Torah is a myth, then the other two books have no concrete basis for believing that they're true. Oxford 152. What's your hometown, and what town do you live in at the moment? Well, I'm not going to tell you exactly what town I live in at the moment, because there are crazy people who want to kill me. Probably going to burn crosses on my lawn or something. But let's just say I live in a suburb of Flint. My hometown, though I did move around a lot as a kid, I was born in Detroit. Yep, downtown Detroit. In the rough part of Detroit, I was born. We eventually moved to various towns that are suburbs of Detroit with larger Jewish populations, like Farmington Hills and West Bloomfield. Eventually moved out to Marshfield, Massachusetts, which is on the south shore of Boston. And then moved to Sharon, Massachusetts, which has about a 70% Jewish population, a very close-knit, conservative Jewish town. Moved back to West Bloomfield, where I finished high school, and then when I moved out of my parents' house, moved north. E.M. True, do you remember what it felt like before you were an atheist? Yes, I do, because I probably didn't declare my atheism until well within college. I was definitely in my early 20s, 21, 22. There was a large period of time where I would consider myself agnostic, because it is a kind of a safe place to be, giving the existence of God like a 50-50 chance. And there's emotional ties to the idea of like a paternal figure in the sky. I was kind of stuck on that. I couldn't get past the point that it was ridiculous. So yeah, I remember very vividly being a Jew. I was actually trying to be, you know, the good religious person right around the time of my bar mitzvah up until 14, 15. Critical thinking skills and further understanding of human behavior and the history of the Jewish people themselves brought me to doubt the factual how factual the Torah was, and eventually led me to believe that all religions were just BS. Do you think that it would help to think back to that mindset before talking to theists? Yes, it does help. You have to be able to empathize with the person you're having a discussion with, so you better understand them and you better know how to address their concerns. Yes, it does help. What is your perspective on string theory and on the different dimensions by spiritual reality? String theory, it's interesting. A lot more work still needs to be done. I'm not sure if it actually is true or not. But I haven't really done enough research on it to have a concrete opinion. But it's interesting. And on different dimensions, well, that's nice. That's all I gotta say about it, basically. Okay, there's multiple dimensions. Alright, good. Doesn't really change anything. I mean, it changes physics, but as far as my everyday life, it doesn't change anything. There wouldn't be anything, you know, mystical or supernatural about it, or spiritual about different dimensions. There would just be, you know, change the laws of like quantum mechanics a little bit. Big deal. Sightless blind, Decepticon or Autobot? Come on, you have to ask that. Autobot all the way. One of the good guys. Crap. That's not even a real choice. It's like good or evil. Good, duh. There's no choice in that. I'm one of the good guys. I can't help it. I feel empathy for people, and I want to protect people and do the right thing. I'm compelled to do it. I think it's biological in nature. I wasn't raised rigidly that way. It was just something that I enjoy doing the right thing. Whether it's legal or not, or, you know, just doing what's right. I'm kind of compelled to do it. Is that it? Is that everything? 1, 2, 3. Yep, that's everything. Man, a lot of response videos. I gotta edit the hell out of these things.